The Chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead, they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Until the Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. May even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all. You were born amidst the Dalish elves, noble wanderers who refused to join the society of humans that subjugated their homeland so long ago. The Dalish travel the land in tightly knit clans, struggling to maintain their half-forgotten lore in a human world that fears and despises them. You spend your time hunting with your clanmate Tamlin in the forests, and as is sometimes the case, your quarry is not always the local wildlife.
It's a Dalish!
And you 3 are somewhere you shouldn't be.
Let us pass, Elf. You have no right to stop us.
No? We will see about that, won't we? You're just in time. I found these humans lurking in the bushes. Bandits, no doubt.
We aren't bandits, I swear. Please don't hurt us.
You Shemlin are pathetic. It's hard to believe you ever drove us from our homeland.
We've never done nothing to you, Dalish. We didn't even know this forest was yours.
This forest isn't ours, fool. You've stumbled too close to our camp. You Shems are like vermin. We can't trust you not to make mischief. What do you say, Lethalon? What should we do with them?
Well, that's an interesting start. Now, here we get to the point. I also like how we came in from the side like that. Kill them, what do I care? The others will never know. Now, here we have a example of him trying to balance his urges, because on one hand, he's in agreement with his friend. Well, humans rarely bring anything but trouble, or shems, as they refer to them. He definitely won't say you judge humans too harshly. I think... Let's find out what they're doing here first. Yeah.
Does it matter? Hunting or banditry, we'll need to move camp if we let them live.
Look, we didn't come here to be trouble. We just found a cave.
Yes, a cave. With ruins like I've never seen. We thought there might be,
Treasure? So you're more akin to thieves than actual bandits.
Well, that is a step above bandits, if nothing else. As well, Hanal is starting to realize that they are clearly harmless. They're more likely just commoners that stumbled into the wrong section of the woods. Clearly, they have some racial prejudice, but it's not as though they're really harming anything. Although this is tempting, we know this forest there are caves, but
but
no.
I have proof. Here, we found this just inside the entrance.
This stone has carvings. Is this Elvish? Written Elvish?
There's more in the ruins. We didn't get very far in, though.
Well, I didn't mean to do that, but that was the secondary option, so it's fine. I was going to say that that was a tempting option, but the other one pretty much summarized it better. But it looks like it led to the same response as they gave proof, so it's fine. Glancing at it, I'm sure that Hanal would know it's Elvish. He's probably the most studious of all of his peers, so... I just noticed there's a bit of a bug here. His, Hanal's boat is still on his back. That's pretty funny. Okay. It doesn't sound like a trap. They sound actually quite convinced that something went wrong. So, instead, and he knows that it's Elvish just by glancing at it. He would know even better than Tamlin. So instead he'll ask the Shems, why not? What stopped you?
There was a demon. It was huge with black eyes. Thank the Maker we were able to outrun it.
A demon. Where is this cave?
Just off the west, I think. There's a cave in the rock face and a huge hole just inside.
Well, do you trust them? Shall we let them go?
That's a good question. On one hand, if he lets them go, then they're certainly going to have to leave. They'll have to pick up shop and move on. On the other hand, killing them will only rouse suspicion. Someone's bound to miss them if they're commoners. That means they have families that will, and friends more likely, that will likely wonder exactly where they've gone to. And there's only so many options. Kill one and the others will make sure no one else comes. That will have the opposite effect, in fact. Hanal's not a fool. If you're going to kill them, you kill them all. It'll buy some time. But if he has the choice between slaughtering them and allowing the fear that they've put into them to hold them off for now, they're going to have to leave either way. He'd rather keep their arrows clean for now if they can. You've frightened them enough, Tamlin. Let them be. They won't bother us.
Run along then, Shems. And don't come back until we Dalish have moved on.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, shall we see if there's any truth to this story? These carvings make me curious.
I'm having flashbacks to previous interactions, Tamlin. The last time we decided to do something without the Keeper's forewarning, I nearly killed 3 of our tribe. Still, I am curious as well, especially with the mentions of the demon. If nothing else, we should at least try to inform the Keeper first, before we go marching off into the caves.
She might be interested in these carvings, but let's see if there's anything more before we get excited. Besides, we're already here. Now, they said it was to the west.
Must we? I mean, we could just go back to camp, and I suppose you have a fair point, though. There's not much use in returning when we don't have much to report. The cave might not even exist, in fact. Don't look at me like that. Oh, very well. Well, lots of codex entry. You know, I never actually read the codex entries in this. Oof, pretty substantial entries. All right. In time, the human empires will crumble. We have seen it happen countless times. Until then, we wait. We keep to the wild borderlands. We raise holla and build arvels, and present a moving target to the humans around us. We try to keep hold of the old ways, to relearn what was forgotten. We call to the ancient gods, although they do not answer and have not heard us since before the fall of Arlathan, so that one day they might remember us. Elganon, the eldest of the sun, and he who overthrew his father, Mythal, the protector, Fenharel, the dread wolf, Andrul, the huntress, Falrum Din, the friend of the dead, Durthamin, the keeper of secrets, Gillan Nain, the mother of Hala, June, the master of crafts, and Salaise, probably, the hearthkeeper. We gather every 10 years for the Arlathan to retell the ancient stories and keep them alive. For when the human kingdoms are gone, we must be ready to teach the others what it means to be elves. As told by Gisharel, keeper of the Ralafiran clan of Dalish elves. And you can actually do it like this, and I've actually never played this way because it felt less like a RPG and more like a strategy game almost, which I wasn't really down for, so I'm going to be using the keys. And I forgot to equip my, oh. I had something under my keyboard. Pardon. How embarrassing. Now, what are you? No, you're a wolf. The wolf had a lyrium potion inside it. Tamlin, since when have... Right. Oh. Well, I suppose I should have seen that coming. Wolves travel in packs.
Been waiting for this.
That really wasn't a good idea for them, but I suppose they don't exactly know every time. Oh, the damn beasts. Well, now Hanal certainly feels no regret over their death. They killed one of their Hala. No creature is more revered by the Dalish than the Hala. No other animal has a god of its own. These white stags are much larger than ordinary deer, and the Dalish Hala keepers carve their antlers as they grow, making them curve into intricate designs. In ancient times, these stags bore elven knights into combat, but since the fall of the Dales, they are used less as mounts and more to pull arvels and wolf. I'm curious how the Dalish actually perceive wolves, considering the, I can't remember the god, the Dread Wolf? It is rather unfair, the reputation that the wolf possesses in Ferelden. For a people that so clearly adore their hounds, Ferelden simultaneously harbor a distrust of wolves that border on the unreasonable. Unreasonable, that is, if one were not familiar with the ancient legends regarding werewolves. There was a time in Ferelden's past when demons inhabited the bodies of wolves in great numbers, causing the wars against werewolves and spreading great fear and panic. The werewolves were slain, but even today the noble wolf is still looked upon with distrust. From Legends of Ferelden by Mother Alis of Denerim, 910 Dragon. An attack by wolves upon civilized folk happens rarely, often only in times of desperation, and even then, only when the wolves have the advantage of numbers. This can change during a blight. When darkspawn rise onto the surface, their presence dramatically alters the savage nature of normal beasts. In blights past, as the corruption of the darkspawn spread through the wilder areas of Thedas, it would infect the animals found there, and the more powerful of them would survive and be transformed into a more vicious and dangerous beast. A blight wolf is one such example. Mad with the pain of its infection, and only through the overriding command of the darkspawn does it still retain... Oh, sorry, there was a slight jar in the desk. Through the overriding command of the darkspawn does it still retain some semblance of its pack instincts. Blight wolves are always found in large groups and will tend to overwhelm a single target if they can, using the numbers to their advantage. It is fortunate that these creatures rarely survive their corruption for very long. Interesting. Oh, and of course, insufficient skill.
As you desire.
Well, you can't blow it up. Alright, well, it's worth a shot. Tamlin, what are you? Apparently, as soon as I take over Tamlin, Hanal decides he needs to cast rock armor. I'll settle the tactics at a later date. No. Skills and talents. Okay, so he's a warrior. Alright. That's what I figured, unfortunate. I suppose activating that is fine. How much mana? Not much. Alright.
And so I shall.
Oh, another codex entry. That's okay. That'll be an introduction to it, I suppose. Maybe I'll limit them to a couple an episode or something if they get out of hand. The Brecilian Forest. There are places in the Brecilian Forest where the veil is so thin, that's what they call the Fade, the Dalish. So thin, the difference between awake and dreaming is next to nothing. In one such place, a wood-shaper was born under some unfortunate stars that his mother named him Ebelas, which means sorrow, and he lived up to his name. He could keep no apprentices, and lost his stock of bows in mishap after mishap, until finally he had nothing. The rest of the clan began to fear that his ill luck would harm them too, and whispered among themselves of casting him out. Abeles heard them, and resolved to change his luck, and so went into the forest alone to seek a suitable tree from which to make bows. At last he spied a young rowan growing beside a stream. He drew his axe, and the tree cried out in fear, begging to be spared. But Abeles said, "If I do not take your life, mine will surely end." With 2 strokes he felled the tree. From the tree he made the finest 3 bows he had ever crafted. Pleased, Abeles returned to camp and gave his bows to the hunters at once. By nightfall, however, the camp was in an uproar. The hunters had returned with braces of hairs, which, when cut open, revealed only worms and sawdust. The elders said it was a sign that the hunters had robbed some spirits of its host, for it is well known that spirits do not go about the waking world on their own, but inhabit another creature's body. The elder worked a charm to banish the spirit back to the Fade, and the clan went to sleep hungry. The next day the hunters brought back a doe, and again the beast bled sawdust. Now the clan began to fear the spirit would starve them, and wondered what they had done to deserve it. Abellis came forward then, and told of the rowan tree. The elder considered for a long time before declaring that they must replace what Abellis had taken from the spirit. So he sent the hunters to dig up a rowan sapling and bring it, living, to the camp. There the elder ordered the sapling planted, and appealed to the spirit for forgiveness. There was a terrible sound then, as if the whole forest were crying out in protest. Darkness fell upon the camp, though it was just past midday, and when the darkness passed, a rowan grove, every tree bearing the frozen face of a terrified elf, stood where the camp had been. From then on, it was forbidden in every clan to cut living trees in the Brecilian forest. The spirits know nothing of forgiveness. The Rowan Grove, a Dalish tale from Ferelden folklore and history, by Sister Petrine? Yeah, Chantry Scholar. Wow, there's a lot of those right then. But I've never read them, so I actually enjoy learning a little bit more of the lore. Elf root. And I will happily gather that up. And more. You can turn these into policies later to help heal and mend wounds. Torts. Now, Townland, I don't think we would have missed a gigantic archway made of solid marble? Stone? I'm not a dwarf. I don't know exactly what material this is, but the size dictates not elven design.
This must be the cave. I don't recall seeing this before, do you?
No, and I don't exactly think we should go in alone. A giant ruin just doesn't appear, Tamlin. We should inform the keeper, and at least get a couple more of the adults to come with us, just to be safe.
There's nobody else here, and I'm not running back for help unless there's something worth making a fuss over. Come on, let's at least see what's there. How dangerous could it be?
I'm having flashbacks, Tamlin. We are not children anymore. This is a bad idea. But I must admit, the idea is quite intriguing. Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos and don't want to miss out on future content, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. If you'd like to support me on a more personal level, offer recommendations, chat with me, or vote on future series, then consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Thank you once again for all your support, and I can't wait to see you in the next chapter of our story.